So Mother's Day is about celebrating our birth mothers, our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunts, our neighbors, our teachers, all the people who have taken time to nurture us along life's path. These are the motherly figures, the mentors, the people that taught you something that you have taken in your life and grown as a result of. There's so many women who have influenced us along our life's journey, and every one of them shapes our future. And it may not be your biological mother. Maybe you didn't have the best relationship with that person. But that doesn't matter. That person got you here. So the question is, who are the women who shaped you? I was blessed with an awesome mom, and I think about her every day when I make decisions. Even in how I dress and how I look, I hear her in the back of my mind. Understanding God's purpose for mothers will help us understand the bigger picture of how it reaches beyond just giving birth to a child. That this is a much bigger story than that. There are people who provided nurturing along the way. And through their loving ways, we were able to find a gentle ear or a voice, or maybe someone who said, you know, is that the right decision, dear? I remember Thalia Potter. Some of you remember her? She was such a mentor for me. And she was such a gentle soul. And we'd be frustrated with a song or something in the choir at the old building, and she would say, now, we're not going to make an issue about the song, right? Because we're going to lift our voices. And I'd look at her like, well, I don't know, that isn't where I was going with it, but she just always had that spirit. And especially since my mom left this earth a while back, Fern Kenyon's been that person for me. I can call her about anything. If it weren't for Fern, her and Jeffrey, I absolutely would not have made it through the last 3 years. I called her and said, Unity wants me to come there. Do I walk away from my interfaith mission and do this? What does your heart tell you, she said. I said, not to go back to school, that's for sure. And she said, where do you feel drawn? And then I had to be honest. You know, this was Unity of Tampa, had been my home for 15 years at that point, prior to that point. My husband and I were married in that church. And I had to really think about what would that road look like. So I wanted to take the shortcut road, which was just stay here for 2 years until Unity found someone, in which case I didn't have to go to school. Or, you know, suck it up and go the hard route. But she didn't ever tell me what to do. All she did was ask the questions that I needed to answer for myself. That's what I call spiritual nurturing. It's about creating space for another person to be themselves. And those people help us to be open and honest. Not just about who we are, but about life and having meaningful experiences. And this is especially true for those of us in this room or online or in the world who might have felt that my mother wasn't equipped with the skills she needed. That's okay. There are other people who probably shaped your life. I read an article years ago that said moms set up shop in their children's heads and should make sure it will pass mental health inspection. But it's true, because you all know everything that was told to us still plays. How many times do we hear those tapes going, right? Whoever that person was that shaped us. And maybe we blame it all on one person. Some people blame one person for the entire reason they turned out the way they did. But that's a real cop-out, isn't it? Because one person, one human, couldn't possibly be all things to us. It's not even humanly possible. So you look at all the people along life's journey, and the older you get, you realize how many of those people there were. One teacher might have been it for you. I remember having a teacher in high school who, shaped my life, was a huge part of my life. And it was only a year ago I heard from her again. They don't go away. That head talk stays with us. And those women continue to influence us, whether they are present or not. I think of them as spiritual mothers, because they are also emotional protectors. The women who protected you from being wounded by other people's words and actions, or perhaps helped you heal because of other people's words and actions. And as we keep talking about where do you give your attention, focus today not on the people you don't have, but the people who gave to you. Maybe it is someone who's no longer physically present on earth, but what did you get? What are the gifts? Your sister may have been a mentor. A cousin may have been a mentor. But who are those female energies that changed this world for you? That's where I want you to put your attention today. Those are the people who let us speak openly and don't embarrass us, and they don't shame us for the decisions we make. They give us that safe haven when times are tough, to be okay with them being tough. And sometimes they reflect to us what we don't see in ourselves. They say something and we think, really? That's me? Through their eyes, that's who we are. It's amazing energy. The female energy, male energy, they both have to exist in this world. But they bring different gifts. The female energy, it's an innate ability to want to help. And if they don't have it, someone else does. It's a powerful presence. It's a love. It's an unconditional feeling that I'm okay right where I am. They challenge us to keep trying new ways to navigate life and to move in directions we may be afraid to go. And maybe, just maybe, we learned what our purpose was because someone else helped us get there. That's when I think of women like this as our spiritual champions. They never tell us that our dream can't be pursued or that the dream we have won't pay the bills. What they do is encourage us to follow our heart and to find our purpose. They model behaviors that we adopt in life, like maybe the way we speak and act, or teaching us that our words and our actions are going to affect other people. Maybe they taught us the values we hold, such as speaking with integrity and living with integrity. Maybe we learned respect. Maybe it was kindness. But that ability to keep us safe also is the ability to set us free. Those are the people who said, you can do this, go. And you have that moment when you trust that this is the right thing, that you can do this. And I think they oftentimes know before we do, while we're struggling, that we could probably have an easier path. But they don't force us into their way of thinking. They let us just do it our way, even when it's difficult. These are the people who help us reach our divine excellence. And there's a message in Matthew 6 that says it perfectly. It says, start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. It's a beautiful reminder. But for me to speak today without mentioning Mother Teresa is not possible. Because when I think of spiritual women who mothered without giving birth, she was it. And she wrote a book about the 7 ways for mothers. And I think they apply to every one of us here, so I'm going to share them with us. Number 1 is instill a love for home in children. That sense of belonging where peace, happiness, and love for one another exists and where forgiveness can be visible. Number 2, to be joyful in all things. Everyone, and listen to this seriously, everyone who comes to you should go away feeling better than when they got to you. Because joy, she said, is infectious. Number 3, slow down and enjoy each other. People seem to be in a rush, she said, for greater development and greater riches, but less time is spent on love. Spend time on love. Number 4, to pray. Simply pray together. The family that prays together stays together. And if we stay together, love is present. Number 5, teach children to love others by how you love each other. People who love each other fully are truly the happiest people in the world. Number 6, to see the best in your family and accept each other for who you are. Let us be sincere, she said, in our dealing with each other and have the courage to accept each other right where we are. Number 7, do not worry. In the face of all difficulties, doubts, and objections, trust in the divine. If the path is not open to you, then it was not the path you were meant to travel. So stop worrying and stop wasting your energy. She says this, which I thought was very interesting. She said, we have a sentence in our Constitution that says we will allow the good God to make plans for the future. For yesterday is gone, tomorrow has not yet come, and we have only today. How many people remember that it's even in the Constitution? Such wisdom from this amazing woman who never gave birth, was always called mother, and nurtured the whole world. So my wish for every one of you today, every female in this room, and online, is for you to remember your purpose in life. Not who you birthed, not whether you birthed a child, but what has your purpose been in life, and what can it still be? Who needs you? Ask yourself, what is my purpose? And celebrate all that you've already done for the people who have needed you. Let's review today's lessons. Celebrating God's purpose for motherly figures is a reminder for all of us to, number one, be a spiritual champion of others. Support dreams and hold the vision people desire. Number two, listen from your heart and allow others to process as needed. Number three, model behaviors versus lecturing. Be a mirror of positivity and instill confidence. Number four, express unconditional love. Sometimes love can be enough. The affirmation I wrote for us today is, I am an expression of God's purpose, because that applies to men and to women. I am an expression of God's purpose. And I wrote today's message because it just came to me as I was writing this. Motherly love is the innate nurturing quality we have to empower others in life. Let's pause and take this in. So we take a moment to reflect upon the importance of being a motherly figure to those in need. To look for places when people show up in our lives and need mentoring or guidance and coaching. Instead of just pushing them aside, to take time to serve the purpose and recognize they're in our space for a reason. To help all the young women in the world realize the influence they will have in this lifetime when they look for others who need their guidance or just an ear. And so with all the gratitude for all the women who have ever helped us along the way, we say, thank you, God. Amen.